Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to talk about Mega Evolution, and we need to give you the usual warning, which is stop buying Mega Evolution singles. Now, there is both a reason to be even more bullish about this than normal, and there is an exception. Now, the reason this is even more important than normal is because, of course, we have that confirmation of a delay for Mega Evolution in EMEA regions. Which means, yes, pre-releases have happened, and the cards are out there in some places, but in fewer places than normal. The supply is a lot less than it normally would be at this point, and it's an incredibly hyped set. So, usually going and buying singles after a pre-release is a pretty terrible idea. But for this set specifically, oh my word, is it a terrible, terrible idea. Please bear in mind not every region has got this yet, so there's more people, or at least as many as always, that want it, with fewer cards out there. The exception is if you're playing. If you're going to be playing in this format, you're going to want Lily's Determination. And with regionals coming up, you might not have a lot of time to get the cards. So maybe something like a regular art Lily's Determination, you do need to pick up now just because you need to play the game. That's an argument for picking up Lily's Determination, even if it's a bit more than you probably should be paying. It's not an argument for picking up the special illustration rare of Lily's Determination, which, as I'm going to show you in a minute, is getting done. Although, I need to tell you guys, usual deal here, I ain't your dad, so you do what you like. This is friendly advice on your old pal Wassy, nothing more. So let's start off with the biggest cards in the entire set. We've got a couple of gold cards coming around. Like, for instance, the gold God of War. It's beautiful. No official images of a couple of these cards, so I've just have to grab images off of eBay. So, shout out to eBay, I suppose. And if we have a look at what they're for sale for at the moment, we've got kind of all over the place. 860, 600, 685. Worth pointing out, of course, that this is the first set that's had this style of gold card, which are significantly rarer than the previous gold cards we've had, and we frankly don't really know. So, somewhere between 6 and 900, it's a little bit all over the place. If we have a look at the early sales here, 7 to 850. Honestly, mostly about 850 with a little exception. This is an expensive card, but these were the early sales. When pre-releases started happening, the first ones of these got picked up and started being sold. More recently, 6 to 750. It's still not cheap. It is still very much not cheap. It has come down a little bit since the first pre-releases, but again, there's a bunch of countries that are still a week away from pre-releases starting, more than. So, yeah, we can half away, really. So let's be clear, these prices are massively inflated. Well, what about the Lucario? Surely the Lucario is a bit cheaper. It's less hyped than God of War, although arguably a better card. And it is. Right now, you can go and pick it up for $550-ish. You look at the for sales I've got on the screen here, 530, 540, 575, somewhere in the region of about 550-ish is what we're looking at. It's cool. Still massively too expensive. Whereas if we have a look at the early sales here, they were not great, shall we say. For instance, the early sales, you're looking at $800 bucks. Yeah. $800. 800, 745. That is a very expensive card. Has it already started falling? Yeah. 550. There was one 647, but if I got two in a row sold for 550, and look, it's eBay, prices are going to vary day to day, especially for these expensive cards. The condition of the cards may well also be having an effect as to how much people are paying and all of that, I grant you. But generally speaking, about 550 right now. They've already come down since the pre-releases started but these cards are massively too high right now. You know, to give you an example, these should be somewhere in the region of the Zekrom and Reshiram from Black Bolt and White Flare. That is about what we're looking at in terms of pull rate and rarity over in Japan. They are sub $400 cards. So why are we paying somewhere like $600 to $800? It is absurd. We shouldn't be. They should be on a level with them. Maybe slightly higher if you want to argue playability, especially Lucario, but not to the point they are. Just a nice little example of how they're too high. All right. So let's move away from the gold cards for a minute. Let's go to some special illustration rares. Are they being pushed up to the same degree? Come on. I don't even have to look to tell you that they definitely are. If we start off with Gardevoir again, right now for sale, we've got a 550, which is clearly too high, and then a 370 buy it now and a 355, which had 18 minutes left when I screenshotted it. So about 370 is about what we're looking at for this card. Quite a lot. What were the early sales like for the Gardevoir? Yeah, about 500. 490, 495, 550. That is an expensive special illustration rare. Have they come down since? I mean, yeah, but not that much. Still at like $400. That is a huge, huge, huge amount of money. $400, it's just high. And look, any of these cards could magically end up being ridiculously expensive. Sometimes random cards get picked up and absolutely pushed. But this would put it among the top couple of special illustration rares in the set. And given that it's already come down by over $100 in a couple of days, maybe we give it a little bit more time. And we can have a look at the Lucario as well, for sale at the moment for $400 or thereabouts. Okay. The early sales were up, well, I mean, these are absurd. Someone apparently paid $876. Someone paid $700. Someone paid about $650. Absolutely crazy prices. Now it's about $360. So it was selling for about $650, and now it's selling for about $360. Yeah. And again, we're still during pre-releases. And pre-releases haven't started everywhere. When pre-releases start everywhere and the set actually comes out, then we're going to start seeing the supply explode, at which point we're going to be able to get these cards so much cheaper. But what if we go away from Gardevoir and Lucario? How about some of the others? How about Lily's Determination? Because, oh my word, that's a beautiful card people are going to love. Could end up being the biggest card in the entire set. And right now, people are asking $280 to $400. This one has got a little bit more variability than your average card. But $300 to $400 is about where we are. The early sales, I mean, what's going on? We got a 600, an 800, and a 300. Now, my inkling is, I mean, we can see that the 300 was a buy it now. So probably somebody who wasn't paying enough attention put it up far too cheap and, you know, somebody bit the hand off, metaphorically speaking. I hope metaphorically speaking. But that's still absurd. Not the 300, all the others. Nowadays, it's about $250. It is a bit cheaper than the others. It's sitting there rocking about $250. Incredibly playable card, beautiful artwork, and it's Lily. I still expect it to come down because special illustration rare supporters have not held their value. There's no reason to think that this Lily is going to. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we might as well have a look at a couple of others while we're here. Venusaur's one that a lot of people are loving. Beautiful card. Remember, it's got the connecting artwork with the Bulbasaur and the Ivysaur, which is going to make all of those cards more sought after. It always does. Well, for sale right now, pretty much $300, almost dead on 300. People can actually agree on this one. Yay. Early sales were $350 to $450. And then more recently, we're actually selling for about $300. People seem to be able to agree on this. And it's got the connecting artwork. So even though playability-wise could be a really good card, we don't really know about this one. This is one I have some reservations about. Right now, $300. When you compare it to some of the other special illustration rares around, that seems far, far too high. And then the one that I really want. The one that I am redonkulously hyped for, the Mega Latias. The reason is it's Akira Igawa artwork. I think that artwork's art is absolutely phenomenal, and I think even in regards to their art generally, this is particularly fantastic art. I adore this card. This is my number one chase card from the set. Okay. How much are we actually paying for it, though? Well, about $350. It's actually more than things like the Venusaur right now. The early sales were there around $400, maybe just a little bit less, so it was never particularly cheap. More recent sales are about $300-ish. So look, they're cheaper than the $350 I showed you the 4 sales a minute ago. They're actually selling for $265, $300, $325, but it's unusual. You know, maybe you could argue that the gold, Lucario, and Gardevoir should be high. Maybe you can even argue the special illustration rares of those Pokemon. But then to have Venusaur and Latias coming in so high as well, this whole set is massively inflated, partly because of general Pokemon hype at the moment, partly because of the delay in some regions, partly because it's the first mega set. But right now I've shown you a bunch of prices. They are way, way, way too high. But now it's over to you guys. Have you managed to attend any pre-releases yet? What have you pulled? Which cards are your chase cards for the set? Let me know in the comment section. Get us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Quentin Journeau, who's been a patron for a little while now and seems to be a lovely person. So shout-out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.